noticing like, okay, I'm going to drink a beer and I'm going to see how I feel an hour later and take, no, don't drink two right away. Let's see. And boy, was that eye-opening because of all the things I was learning about what it was doing to me, not for me. It was doing so many things to me that were not serving me. So it now with the change in my life, I feel all the feels. I go through all the emotions. Back then I would run. Things start acting up, go grab a couple beers, calm down, and boom, next thing you know, I'm 10 beers later. But now it's like I sit with my emotions and I start to work through different techniques. Okay, let's get calm down the vagus nerve. Let's do some tapping or let's do some breathing or get outside and meditate or whatever it might be. Change my state to and don't stay in that negative zone because that is a thing. I was talking to one of my clients last week, 2 weeks ago, and we were discussing, she was talking about all the things that she was doing wrong. And I said, what's really interesting? Where did we learn? And I don't know how they do it over there in Italy or in Europe, but I know here in the United States, when you were in elementary school and you get your test scores back, it always said minus this, minus 12, minus 15. So they always talked about what you did wrong.
Yeah.
So what did you do when you get your test back? You go and look for what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? So I help people focus on what are you doing right. Let's celebrate all the wins, all the gains. Because if you focus on the gap, you're going to stay stuck in that gap. Let's focus on where you want to go and focus on all the wins you do. So I celebrate every day. I celebrate how far I've come. It's like, look at me now. I'm not, the only reason I'm where I am is because I started before other people. If I've got people, you've got people on listening to your podcast are going, yeah, but you don't get it. I get it. I just started before you. That's all. And so I just want to be able to be of service to others and be able to say, I'll hold your hand. I got you. I understand. I lived it.
So welcome back to the Passionate Pioneer podcast, series 3. I'm Beth Taylor and I am the Passionate Pioneer with a croaky voice today. And this podcast is your connection into spiritual awakening experiences and, of course, the path to joyful living. And today I'm joined by Jacki Fleniken. Hi, Jacki.
Hi, thanks you so much for having me.
You're welcome. So, for people that don't know you, Jacki, would you mind giving us a quick introduction before we dive into your story?
Yeah, my name's Jacki Fleniken. I'm in the United States, and I am now an alcohol freedom and transformation coach. But my previous career, for about 12 years, I was a bartender. So I went from serving the beer to now explaining, or alcohol, to now explaining and helping people who are struggling with that relationship that they unfortunately might have overdone with their relationship with alcohol.
Right. Okay. Um, and we know that there are a lot of addictions that
Mhm.
we have. It's the human condition, isn't it? That we're
Yeah.
we're all addicted to something. And one of those things, which is a little bit more dangerous for our bodies, is alcohol. So how did you get into this then, from serving beer to
Yeah.
to now?
Well, there's a saying I say, I'm most qualified to help the person I used to be. So in 2021, I mean, I've always been a drinker. It was my thing. Even, probably in my 20s when I was having my kids, I wasn't drinking a whole lot, but I got back in the restaurant business and around the age of 40, and I just, man, I just started drinking to be a part of the culture. I'd get off work, I'd have a couple beers, and the next thing you know, beer was my dinner because I'd work from 4 to like 10 or whatever it might be. But fast forward to 2021, I had left the restaurant business and I was going to start a new career. And the person who was supposed to come train me just everything just fell to pieces. And some of the things that she said to me that were just absolutely horrifying, I fell into major depression. And in order to cope with that, my drinking escalated. Now, instead of drinking 8 or 9 beers a day, I was up to 12, 13, 14 a day. I mean, I don't know. It got to a point that I knew that I was noticing my 30 packs of beer were pretty much going out the window within 2.5 days. So I started to get really smart and I thought, I'll just buy 2 30 packs at a time. I won't have to go to the beer distributor as much because in Pennsylvania, we buy our beer in bulk at a beer distributor. So that was my 2022. I laid in a horrible depression, which caused me to have extreme anxiety. which I was not. I mean, everybody has anxiety. It happens at time to time, but this was like brutally awful anxiety where I could not move. I couldn't leave
Mm.
my house unless I had beer in me because of all these thoughts that were just going. So it was this awful cycle. So at the end of 2022, beginning of 23, I'm like, what am I doing? Because in July of 22, I went to a celebration of life for a gentleman who had died from his addiction to alcohol. And I'm sitting in that celebration of life, and I was like, wow, 80 to 90% of what was being discussed by this individual was all the stupid things he did when he was drinking. And I remember sitting there, it was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm drinking a beer because that was the thing. I mean, that's the thing that he loved to do. So we're all drinking alcohol. And I was like, I needed it because I was hungover from the night before. So it was just like seeing all these things and wondering what what was my life going to be like if I continued to stay on this road? And I tried a couple different things and nothing was working. I tried this app you put on your phone and you kind of say, "Oh, I'm only going to drink 10 today." And, you know, at 10, I would lie and say, "Oh, no, I didn't drink 11 or 12." And so I realized this isn't working for me. So at the beginning of 23, I thought, I've got to find something. So I just did a lot of research and searched and found a science-based methodology that I was able to study. And I, in the beginning, what it was able to do was, it was like, stop trying to stop drinking, just learn why you're drinking so much. And let's talk about the emotions and the feelings you want to have around it. So that's how I started my journey. And this was almost 3 years ago. And I've been alcohol free since June 9th of 2023. And it's because it's my choice now. I get to choose. I don't white knuckle it. I'm not craving it. I'm not like feeling it. I'm not missing out. I was able to take this life that I had that was handcuffed to alcohol, and I was able to break those chains and reconnect with myself and really understand what alcohol was not doing for me, because I thought all the things it was doing for me were lies.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's lots of different stories on why people become addicted to alcohol. There's lots of reasons. Usually it starts young. It could be yeah, I've heard lots of different types of
Right.
beginnings. But you know, it is difficult once you're in that cycle
Mhm.
to get yourself out. So first of all, well done,
Oh, thank you.
because it's been 3 years for you, and
Yeah.
that's an amazing feat
Yeah.
in itself. Um, so obviously in 2021 then, this is where you had your awakening moment, I suppose, and said, is this what my future life is going to look like? So,
Yeah, it really did, Beth. I mean, I remember sitting there thinking, is this a legacy I'm leaving for my kids? And will I even be alive to see my future grandkids if I stay on this path? Because not only the gentleman that we went to his celebration of life, after he passed, it was like within 60 days, someone had gone to check on his best friend because nobody had heard from him. And when they got there, this gentleman had died in his home with empty wine bottles, liquor bottles, beer bottles everywhere. And it struck me like, whoa, this is the path I'm on, because I noticed, the 12 beers I was averaging when I was in college, I didn't drink 12 beers a day. But here I am at 53, 54 years old, drinking 12 beers, and I'm not even blackout drinking. I'm still cognizant. I mean, I videotaped myself at one point to kind of see what I look like. And even my kids were like, I didn't know you had a problem, because the only unfortunate thing is tolerance only goes up. The more
right.
you drink, the more your body gets that tolerance level. So just because you could drink one beer and get a buzz, let's say 20 years ago, if you drink every day, by the time 20 years goes by, you need probably 6 or 7 beers to get that same type of buzz. So
Yeah.
all these things just started to come to my conscious awareness. The biggest thing was my subconscious mind was not in alignment with what I wanted to do, and that's what I had to do is break down all these subconscious beliefs that I had, and I had to take a jackhammer to them. And I had to take it. If you want to look at it like a tree, I had to take the biggest chainsaw ever, and I built a new foundation. And so I built this whole new structure of my life, but it was work. you have to plant, I had to plant a lot of seeds. But I remember in the very beginning, Dean Graziosi, he's affiliated with a gentleman named Tony Robbins, and I'm friends
I
with him.
do know those names.
Yeah, you know those names. And Dean, I was on one of his like events or something, and he said, all you got to do is just, it's just a 1 millimeter shift every day. Now, when I heard that in April of 2023 or May of 23, I thought, oh, yeah, right. Because you're so in the throes of not knowing where's your life going to go. But I remember just that little thing stuck with me. It's just a tiny shift every day, Jackie. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So I'm living proof that if you plant the seeds, miracles and change can happen.
But that's true, isn't it? For anything that you do, and especially with changing lifestyle habits,
Right.
it is a marathon.
Mhm.
It's the same with diet. It's the same with anything. It's
Anything.
little steps that
Right.
get you to the end, and it's like it will never be the end.
No,
It's like there's
no.
never the end, right? It's always, you've always got to choose it.
Right.
Every morning you wake up, you choose, okay, I'm going to be a better version than yesterday,
Right. Exactly.
right?
Right.
But it's those beliefs, isn't it? And that
Mhm.
conditioning and the habit that's been formed. Excuse me, my voice is really bad. I
No, it's okay.
apologize.
Oh,
But over 20 years, it's a long time you know, to 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 get to take off those jackets, to take off
yeah,
those coats, right?
right. 100%. Because all of a sudden one will come off and you're like, oh man, there's another one.
Yeah,
Okay, let's work through that one, so but once you get the alcohol, once I was able to get that out of my system and out of my life and out of my real estate of my brain, because I don't know if any of your listeners are listening and you are struggling with this, just know you're not alone. Because I would wake up in the morning and I would open my little beer fridge because I had one of those little college type mini fridges that I had in my kitchen, and I'd open it and I go, oh crap, I only have 5 beers. That's not going to last me for the night. Wait, where did I buy beer last time? I don't want to go to the same place. I got to go. So, like it controlled my thoughts, my day, even my nights. And I remember it was like within, I would say within 90 days of what I called the alcohol train, when I jumped off the train, it was simply as an experiment to see how life is going to be. I never intended to say to somebody, I'm almost 1,000 days alcohol free. I don't count days because I don't have to. I just do it for the awe effect sometimes or to inspire people. But I remember it was like 8 o'clock at night and I was out of something. And I went to the store to Target. I don't know if you guys have Target over there, but we went to my store to go pick up shampoo or whatever it was. And I walked out of the store. It was 8:30, and I just got in my car and I went, holy crap, I just went to the store at night. I went shopping. I'm not drinking. I'm free. Like it was the most freeing feeling because prior to that, I would have never gone. I would have waited till the next day, muddled through the hangover and gone to the store. So it was such an uplifting and empowering moment for me to see what life was like on the other side.
right. It's true. I don't actually know that feeling, Jackie,
Yeah,
because it is
right.
a personal feeling. I know other people that have gone through similar experiences, um, and they found their way out. Some of them have, some of them haven't. But it is the thing is with these types of addictions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if they are kind of normalized.
Hmm.
Like drinking is, oh, let's go celebrate. It's
Right.
my birthday. It's someone's birthday. It's this. It's this. And it's always, we all normally 90% of the time, I would say, we celebrate with some type of
Mhm.
alcoholic drink.
Mhm.
So it's everywhere. It's prevalent,
Right.
isn't it, in society that that's okay to do that.
Right.
And so, if when you stop, how did that feel with because you've got to separate yourself, haven't you, when you
Mhm.
first it's
Yeah.
like any habit. Don't be around those people that are doing that habit, right? That are
Yeah. With everything that I was learning, I think one of the best things that helped me whenever I first went back out into public, which was about 2 weeks after I had jumped off the train, I went and I had a non-alcoholic beer because they make great NA mocktails or non-alcoholic beer or you can have yourself a nice soda water with a lime, whatever it might be. I had my mindset ready to go. Like, you know what? This is for me because nobody else was going to fix me but me. And no, everybody was supportive because I was like, hey, man, I was drinking 12 beers a day. I had to give my liver a break, right? So they were all very supportive. But I went in there with going, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks of what's in my glass because they're not here to take care of me. Only I'm here to take care of me. So there's a lot of tools that I give my clients when I work with them on how I help them navigate those first times. Because we create all these stories in our head that we think, oh my God, all these people are going to be judging me and they're going to look at me weird and they don't care. They really don't care. But if they do care, it's mainly probably because they're already starting to question their own relationship with alcohol. And so if you're not drinking alongside them and they feel like, and they start to pressure you, it's because there's something deep down that they probably think they're drinking too much. Because I do remember going through that several years ago, like people not drinking. I'm like, what do you mean you don't drink? Because it was so normalized in
Right.
society, in the
Right.
movies, in the advertisements. The advertisements in the movies, they don't really show us the true after effects, the throwing up, the hangovers, the miserable feeling, the 3 a.m. wake up call when you're dehydrated and your body's trying to metabolize the alcohol. They make it look like you said, this is just normal. This is what we do. But most people with normal might be, oh, I have a drink. But most people don't stop at one. I was a bartender for 12 years.
Yeah.
So I very rarely saw somebody come in and have just one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were working um in a bar or a restaurant
In the
um
past,
in the
I did.
past. Yes.
Yeah, I worked,
So
yep. I was a bartender in a restaurant. So it was, one of them was a nice Italian restaurant. And the other one was on a public golf course.
okay.
So
So then the turning point for you was the friend that you died alone
yeah,
in his
exactly.
house or apartment.
Correct.
And then you obviously realized that a bigger change was needed.
Right.
So uh, that's that is a lot to internalize, isn't it?
Mhm. It is.
Because I
Yeah.
think that when we experience something, you know, such a gut-wrenching experience, that that can really be, it's usually a trauma point or a trigger point or what I call a spiritual turning point,
Right.
um, that makes us change. And that moment, was that for you? Yes, that moment.
I think there's a lot of things that were stacking up, and I think that to be in that situation where I knew that one died alone, and then the other one had a very ugly death from his addiction to alcohol, and to see it be at that celebration of life where they all just giggled about, oh, he did this when he was drunk, and this man did a lot more in his life besides just drink vodka and beer.
Right.
So it's all these things. And I do believe in my higher powers. I do believe, my mom's been up there for 21 years. My dad's been there since 2001 or 21. I do think my higher powers were saying, come on. The, my mom's like thumping me, going, baby girl, I didn't birth you to have you stay in this, stay in this cycle. And so I just feel like I was guided to all the things I needed at the right time. And they say when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Right.
So, I was desperate because every day I'd wake up prior and I'd say, I'm not going to drink today. I'm not doing it. I'm going to do it. Right. And I beat myself up in the morning. I'd have this voice saying, you suck. What are you doing? And then 5 o'clock would roll around and then the voice would come in and say, oh, it's okay. You've had a really good day. It's one or two is not going to hurt you. And I'd go, you're right. So you have these two voices and all these people go through this. I had to start talking to the voice telling me to drink of, no, no, I'm good today. So I help people uncover, like both of those voices loved me. Both of them did. Because your brain doesn't know that alcohol is bad for you. It just knew it gave me a dopamine hit, which was a synthetic dopamine hit. It wasn't a natural
Right.
one. It was just one that was fabricated by this substance I would put in my body. So,
So it's actually perfect because it was the next question I was going to ask you was about your inner voice
uh-huh.
and how you listen, because you said there's two voices. It's like the
Yeah.
devil's advocate, right? It's like
Right.
one here and one here. So how do you discern which one to really listen to and stop and trust yourself?
Yeah.
How do you do that, Jackie?
Well, in the beginning, it's a little bit tougher because they're both screaming at you, right? They're both screaming, and it's like, which one are you going to feed? I would say so it took a little bit of me having my own coaching from somebody else to help guide me as well. But the biggest thing was, when I explain this to my clients, I go, listen, it's like imagine being in a boxing arena and they're both coming together. Like you have in one corner, the one saying, don't drink because you know what, I love you and you have so much more in life. And this one over here saying, but it's okay. It's going to take the edge off, Jackie. It's fine. So visualize these two in the arena. Which one do you want to win? Which one do you want to win? So I worked very diligently to have the one that said, I love you. Let's fight for me. Because when I started fighting for me, I was fighting for my future self, not the one behind me, my future self. So it's once you can start to really whittle it down and really understand why you're drinking is so much, then you can start to control those thoughts that are coming in. But it takes time, like we talked about at the beginning. It takes time to plant those
It
seeds.
takes time and it takes courage, and it's also about
Mhm.
permission, like you said, to love yourself.
Right. Yeah,
Um,
I would say most people who are drinking heavily, they lost the love for themselves.
yeah,
Because if you really, really loved yourself, not saying that you don't, but there's other, this substance had come in and just totally enveloped your whole life and took control that you feel powerless. And that's what it was. I
right,
felt powerless.
right.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a coach. You
Yeah.
mentioned some kind of guiding light that
Mhm.
stepped in, and also maybe other people
Mhm.
that came in that were aligned with you. Can we talk about those people? So who helped you on this journey?
Yeah. The
Apart
biggest,
from yourself, obviously.
yeah, right. And it was coaches who had already been through it. So I was able to align myself because, one of the biggest things is this. If you want to learn how to do something, learn it from somebody who's already done it. And so, the coaches that helped me, that the ones that I was able to pick, man, they'd already gone through it. So they already had the tools and they already knew and had the grace and compassion for me because they had understanding and empathy for what it is I had gone through because they lived it. So that was powerful, because you can't what I went through and what I overcome, you can't learn it from a book. You can't learn it from a book to truly understand addiction until you've lived it.
Hi, I just wanted to pop on here just to say thank you so much for being here, watching this video, and supporting my channel. It is my honor to bring you these stories from these incredible women who are passionate about their lives and have alchemized their spiritual awakening journeys from service to self to service to others. If you would like to be part of my Passionista community, just grab a free copy of my workbook, which you'll find a link below. It's called Your Passionista Journey Starts Here. And start making those small changes to your life that you need right now. Thank you again for being here. Love you to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you know when all the new weekly episodes are live. Thanks again, Passionista. Much love and joy. Now let's get back to the interview.
Thank you, God, and thank you for the universe for guiding me into having the right people to fall into place at the right time for me. And now that's why I chose to myself become certified in this and to become an alcohol freedom and transformation coach is because I will never forget. I know I'm sidebarring your question, but I never will forget in 2022 when I called a girlfriend of mine who had stopped drinking. And I said to her, oh my gosh, I think I have a problem. And it went to voicemail, right? I left her a long message. She called me back. It went to voicemail. I called her back. It went to voicemail. And I gave up, right? And I remember that me being that broken soul on my front porch crying. And I thought, it's my turn to be of service to others. I never want anybody to feel like they're alone or they're not going to have somebody who understands And then I started building my arsenal even bigger and bigger and bigger with a lot of different tools I can bring to people so that they know that they are in a safe space with me.
Yeah, because it can feel like sometimes life in general, and not just alcohol, just life in general,
Mhm.
can feel like you're alone, like nobody else has been through this, that you're the only one in the world. And it can feel like that, right? And so, that was my question. One of my next questions for you was, that there are people that stop drinking or, stop the addictions, but they don't always necessarily go into being a mentor for other people. So what was the inspiration behind that, Jackie, to go and help other people?
It's always been something I've loved to do is be of service. I've done so many different things in my life that I've coached youth soccer. Uh, I volunteered to do things at my kids' school. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So, and I think really the biggest thing was being able to be that shining light of inspiration for somebody because of how much I know it can break you to feel like you are a failure. So I just want to be able to inspire other people to be like, listen, I get it. And I'll show them videos of me, of how broken I was. I'll show them pictures. This is where I was. And so I just felt this calling to be like, you know what? Grab hold of these people were just like you and let them know that you're safe and you can come and talk to me because I get it.
And I think that's exactly right. I think you've just hit the nail on the head, is that you're owning your mistakes. You're not shameful of them. And I think that's the difference with why you're stepping up, is because you're owning who you are with your authenticity, right?
That's it.
That's exactly it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's very courageous, um, and inspirational for other people that are going through the same experience. So what type of practices or tools were most helpful for you during this transformation, or that you now use as well for yourself in your daily life?
How much time do we have? Just I'll pick out a
Is that a
couple of
whole
them.
other
There's
podcast, is it?
so many. There's so many ones that I have in my toolbox. And sometimes, sometimes I go, oh, I forgot about that one. Um, a lot in the beginning, it's like surfing the urge, making sure, okay, if the craving comes in, sit with yourself. And I guide my clients through that. I use the same type of methodology that I did to stop drinking. I used it to quit smoking cigarettes too. But I didn't do it at the same time because I was like, we are not shocking my body at once. I waited a couple months later and I got rid of the cigarettes because I started to notice, how does it making me feel? And that was a big part of it in the beginning too, Beth. It was like, okay, while I was still drinking, because I didn't stop on day one. I learned for about 75, 80 days. And then I thought, okay, let's transition into this taking a break. Let's go at least 30 days, which, girl, I'd gone one day when I had my wisdom teeth out. So, I mean, I can't even tell you how many years of beer drinking I had done. So it was just like, I lost my train of thought. Let me get back on where I was.
Alcohol and
Oh,
smoking.
I was noticing like, okay, I'm gonna drink a beer and I'm gonna see how I feel an hour later and take, no, don't drink two right away. Let's see. And boy, was that eye-opening because of all the things I was learning about what it was doing to me, not for me. It was doing so many things to me that were not serving me. So it now, with the change in my life, I feel all the feels. I go through all the emotions. Back then I would run. Things start acting up, go grab a couple beers, calm down, and boom, next thing you know, I'm 10 beers later. But now it's like I sit with my emotions and I start to work through different techniques. Okay, let's calm down the vagus nerve. Let's do some tapping, or let's do some breathing, or get outside and meditate, or whatever it might be. Change my state to, and don't stay in that negative zone, because that is a thing. I was talking to one of my clients last week, 2 weeks ago, and we were discussing, she was talking about all the things that she was doing wrong. And I said, what's really interesting? Where did we learn and I don't know how they do it over there in Italy or in Europe, but I know here in the United States, when you were in elementary school and you get your test scores back, it always said minus this, minus 12, minus 15. So they always talked about what you did wrong.
Yeah.
So what did you do when you get your test back? You go and look for, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? So I help people focus on what are you doing right. Let's celebrate all the wins, all the gains. Because if you focus on the gap, you're going to stay stuck in that gap. Let's focus on where you want to go and focus on all the wins you do. So I celebrate every day. I celebrate how far I've come. You know, it's like, yeah, look at me now. I'm not, the only reason I'm where I am is because I started before other people. If I've got people, you've got people on listening to your podcast are going, yeah, but you don't get it. You know, I get it. I just started before you. That's all. And so I just want to be able to be of service to others and be able to say, I'll hold your hand. I got you. I understand. I lived it.
Yeah, and I like all of the practices that you mentioned as well. I think the EFT tapping is becoming really popular, and I think that's great. And Qigong does a lot of thymus tapping, thymus thumping as they call it. It's not really thumping. It's just, but it's like tapping. And I think that that's a really good way for calming your nervous system. And I've tried that many times as one of my practices. But it is important, isn't it, Jackie, to have these things to calm when your monkey mind goes,
Yeah.
I can't deal with this today. It's like when you stop something, you've got to have do you have to have something else to replace it? Do you find that? That's a question for you. So you're stopping the alcohol. Is there something else that you want to replace the alcohol, or is it changing the mindset? Can you talk us through
Yeah.
that
So in the
process?
very beginning, very, very beginning, because it was like my habit was, the biggest thing is this, I was on autopilot. And how I'm going to explain it to your listeners is this. At the time, I had 7 cats. Yes, I'm the crazy cat lady. I am the crazy cat lady. I only have 6 now. But so when I started this journey, I started watching. Then, I give my cats moist food at 5:30. And I'll tell you what, at 5:35, if I don't have that food out, they're in the kitchen looking at me going, where the heck, Mom, get your ass up and go get my food, right? So I was watching this and I'm like, that is what happened with alcohol. Cats don't know how to read a clock. They don't know what time of day it is, even with the time change. It's crazy.
Hmm.
So my body would automatically around 4 or 5 o'clock, that my brain would go, hey, where's that thing? The thing that you do because your brain is guiding you. 70 to 80% of what we do is guided by our subconscious mind, right? Because it makes things easier for us, conserves our energy. So I would go for that beer. So when I first started, decided to jump off the train, I substituted non-alcoholic beer. I got Heineken Zero for the first, and I had 7 Heineken Zeros on day 1, 7 of them, because that's typically, it's what I had one and then I have another. And it was just my way of keeping with my routine. And so I did that probably for like 2 months, but I started whittling it down. I'm like, I don't need 7. What are you doing? Every time you drink one, it costs you $1.25 or whatever it costs me, right? So over time, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I really don't need that anymore. And so I drink water. So I was able to wean it in that way, and that, take the habit, replace it with something different, keep the routine the same. And then eventually because my mind, my subconscious mind, my conscious mind were in alignment, what I wanted, I could create then. So I didn't have to run to even that. And it was probably like the first summer when I used to mow my yard, I used to come in and have a beer. I'd be like, oh, celebrate, you drink your beer. So my first summer came in, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Let's have my beer. And so I had my non-alcoholic beer. And then the next summer I came in and I got done mowing. And the next day I went, you know what? I don't even think I had that NA beer yesterday. I didn't. I just had water, because it's so not even part of my thoughts anymore. It's just, it's gone, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. I tore down that neural pathway in my brain that said, drink beer after you get done mowing. It's gone, which is beautiful.
So this must have changed your your perspective on life and your view on, because when you're drinking, I mean, I have a drink, sometimes, and sometimes I have too many, and I know I've had 3 glasses of wine. I should have just had one. So, but I don't drink very often, and but it it turns you into a different person, or you see, sometimes you'll miss moments. Like when I was younger, I drank a lot, and you miss moments in life, right? So, and you miss you have different types of relationships with people. So my question for you, Jackie, is how have your relationships and your daily life and your sense of the overall well-being and sense of the world changed since you stopped drinking?
It's a great question. And there's so many different levels for that. But one of the things I have realized is a lot of my friends were my drinking friends. So I don't hang out with them as much anymore. And it's really not because I don't want to. I mean, sometimes I'll go hang out with them and I would go maybe to their party or something. And I do my hour or two and then I peace out, right? Because they're all getting drunk and they're slurring their words and it's just getting to be stupid and whatever. I was the same person. I did the same things when I was drinking, but now it's like, okay, cool. I've had my fun. I'm ready for my tea and my jammies. It's 9 o'clock. I'm ready to go home. So I noticed a lot of those relationships have changed, but I get to choose, and I'm so grateful and thankful for where I am. But the biggest thing is the confidence I got back in myself because I get to be authentic and real and raw to who I am. So I want to share with your listeners that it was my birthday of October of 24, and I didn't have any plans. And I'm good. I'm like, whatever, I'm maybe at that point, I'm almost a year and a half alcohol free. And I was like, you know what? My favorite band's playing. I'm going. I'm going to go. And I drove out, it's 30 miles away. It was in the country. So, I went out there and I took one NA beer, took a bunch of soda water with me, and I danced. I just went out. I knew some of the band members, family members would be there. So I went out and I had a great time. And I met my current boyfriend that night because I had the confidence in myself to go out there. And this man, I had met him previously. I still bartend private events only because I've got certain companies or certain people that will call me and I'm like, sure, I'll do it. I won't do it as a career anymore,
Yeah.
and I met him because he was at a corporate event. I was bartending and we just said hi that night, but it was really cool because that night on my birthday in October of 24, he came up to me and we discussed, hey, you're a good dancer. I said, well, I don't see you dancing. So we did. And that was it was a beautiful transformation for me. Number one, to have the confidence to go out. I never would have done that in the past. For some reason, I had this hang up about going out by myself, but I didn't. I thought you're taking care of yourself now. And so so almost 16 months later, I'm still with him and he's amazing. And so it's beautiful because I get to choose the life I want. This whole relationship with him has been me with no influence of the alcohol dictating what I do or don't do. And it's been beautiful. So it's like such an authentic relationship and it's beautiful. I've never had this kind of authentic relationship in my whole life because,
Right.
because something else might have been involved. It's crazy. It's
And
been
and
amazing.
and what about the other relationships in your life with your friends and family and children?
Yeah, I mean, the kids are good. They're very proud of me. I do think sometimes my friends that I still hang out with them on occasion, but it's different. It's different because
Mm.
they're drinking most of the time and I don't. I have a book club. It's called Beer, Wine, and Maybe a Book. And I named it back when I was drinking because I don't usually read the book. So I'm still in the book club, but it's like
Beer, wine, and maybe a
maybe a
book.
book. Yeah. Yeah. And that was what we
That's
called it.
great.
But now it's like I'm only the part of the maybe a book now. Like back
Right.
then I was the beer and the maybe a book. But it's like sometimes I don't read the book. But I'm finding that I'm not getting the same out of it as I used to because as they're drinking, their conversation changes, as you just talked about a minute ago. Your brain gets affected. You're not authentically yourself. You start talking about stuff that really has absolutely nothing to do with the book or whatever it might be. They're all good people. They're great people. It's just I pick and choose a little bit more. Like I do have a lot of friends who are not, they don't drink anymore. And a lot of those people are not necessarily even here in my hometown in Pennsylvania. I get on Zoom calls with people in other parts of the world. So things have changed, but it's okay. It's okay because I did realize like when I first, I think sometimes I hung out with people because of the alcohol, that was our common bond, so to
Right,
speak.
right.
And that's just not part of my values in my life anymore. I don't care if they drink around me, but then the cool thing is I can get up and leave and say, okay, I gotta go. It's been fun. See ya. So I hope that answers your question
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm just trying to follow your story here, Jackie. It's interesting. Um,
That squirrel brain, right? That monkey brain goes,
and
okay, no.
yeah, and I'm sure that you know the your relationships, well, the relationship you have with yourself is much better,
Yeah.
and the relationship you have with other people has
Yes.
changed as well, and maybe some of your friendships have changed a little bit in their dynamic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So would you say you're living a more joyful life now?
Oh, Beth, I can't even tell you how much more joy it brings to me because number one, I'm not dealing with hangovers. Even though you might not have a hangover, your body would still be fighting off that alcohol. The residual effect of the alcohol in my body probably took me up to 2 years to get it all out of my system, meaning especially in the brain area. So my joy, I see like I can look at things so differently now because there's nothing muddling my body or my vision of things. Is that the right word I want to say? I can't think.
Yeah.
But when I look at things now, it's like I can see the beauty in things and I'm a lot calmer. There's a peace and a calmness that just came a couple months after not drinking and having it out of my life. My son had my baby, he's 21. He was staying with me and I think he was home from college or something, university. And he left the freezer open. And I came down in the morning and the door was open it was it's a drawer on the bottom. And I was like, oh man, like the ice cream melted, the frozen pizza was, it was like a frisbee now. You could like bend it and throw it. And he came downstairs and I didn't get mad. I shut it. Previous Jackie would have been like, what I would have
Right.
been angry because my body was so stressed internally that I didn't know it. So I remember he came down. I said, Boo, that's his nickname. I said, can you do me a favor? Make sure you shut the freezer the whole way. Because if not, you're not cream to eat tomorrow. Right. And it was cool. It was like a totally different Jackie because of that calmness that I have now. Do I get agitated sometimes? Of course I do, girl. But
Yeah.
I can catch it and sit with it. And I don't run to escape from it. I just go, okay, why are you so upset? Let's just relax. Let's find out. Let's dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
And it is that internal stress, isn't it? And that's why, you know, we do have these addictions. Maybe we're afraid of being ourselves, like um shaming ourselves maybe, but we've always been sort of put in a box, haven't we,
Yeah.
Jackie? You know, you've got to be that person, and if you're not that person, you know, the black sheep of the family, really.
Right.
And it's not. We're not black sheep.
No.
We just, you know, we choose to do something differently and not conform, because I think that drinking, as you know, it is prevalent and it is really conforming. And listen, I remember being a vegetarian, and one of the members in my family just said, "Why are you so bloody awkward? Why do you have to be a vegetarian?" And I'm like, "Well, it's not affecting you.
Right.
I'll just order some different things." And in fact, I had a very interesting meal because I had lots of different appetizers and different things and a variety of stuff. And it was really, but I just thought that's, you know,
Yeah.
why don't you just be like the rest of us?
Right. Well,
Right?
we can't look, we all wear different glasses. And
Right.
so we all have different lens of what we look through. And that's one thing I've really worked very diligently on it. And I've had that thought for many years, but like, just because I think, all right, yeah, you're a vegetarian, that's your choice. Just like it's my choice not to drink anymore. Because
Right.
finally it's my choice now.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years ago, I didn't have a choice.
Right.
It was in control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in Italy now, so I'm not vegetarian. It is
No.
difficult to be vegetarian out here, but I do try and eat. healthily and lots of vegetables. I love vegetables and salad anyway.
Right.
So,
Right.
but but it was and there's not all, I don't eat all meat. So,
Right.
but again, it's just, that's my choice. And why did I decide to
Right.
do it? Because I don't know. I just said I wanted to try it. So I tried it.
Right.
And in fact, I was
Yeah.
vegetarian for 3 years. And it seemed to be a problem for lots of people for some reason. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you're not doing what I want you to do, kind of,
And
right?
exactly. And everybody has an opinion, don't they? And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, you're right. Here you go. You're right. So you just say to them, I just go, you're right. You
So
can't win an argument
no,
if they've got a strong opinion, right?
no,
It's like, okay,
exactly, exactly.
you do
Um,
you.
so who do you help most, Jackie? Do you help women or men, or is it a mix of both?
It's mostly women I do seem to resonate with. I've had some male clients as well, but the women seem to really flock to me because of the fact that I'm very open. I'm very open and very honest about my journey. So I think and I do, I've got, I got clients in their 30s and I've got clients up into their 60s. So I just want to help anybody who wants to talk to me. And I always talk to anybody first, free for a call if they need to just talk and tell me where they are. And I know it's scary. I know it's scary to go, okay, I think I have a problem. And
Yeah,
but that's the biggest step. That's the biggest,
yeah,
what was I saw something today. Did I just send this? Hold on. But growth begins the moment you choose discomfort over familiarity. So I get it. Drinking is familiar,
yeah.
but growth happens. You choose to become uncomfortable and learning why it is you're drinking too much. Because there's a lot more. I mean, there's so much more I could talk about. There's so many reasons why we have these beliefs and why we created this neural pathway of I need alcohol for this, this, this. I break it down. I talk to them about. I debunk their beliefs.
So do you see a common pattern, Jackie? Do you see a common pattern of why women start drinking?
Sometimes it varies. I think some of them it's based upon depression. Some of them it's I drink to have fun. I drink to socialize. I drink because that's what, to relax.
Right,
That is so not true because you don't really relax. It takes the edge off, but relaxation means you get up and you're energetic when you relax. If you drink too much, you are not energetic. You are not. You're not. You pass out. That is
right,
not relaxation. But we
right,
create these beliefs, and that's because of
right,
society and modeling. I mean, I modeled this behavior to my children, and I've been having conversations with them, and I've apologized. And I said, whatever your decision is for with alcohol, I understand if you drink because you watched me do it, and I watched my dad do it.
right.
So he didn't know any better, and I didn't either. Now I have the tools. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because we were taught that if you have a drink, it gives you Dutch courage
yeah,
to have
yeah,
that difficult conversation or
right,
to socialize if you're a bit of an introvert.
right,
And so it's well, it's socially acceptable, isn't it? You just have a drink and
right,
then you can have a conversation with people. But really, you should dig a little deeper there. If you can't have a
yes,
conversation with people, maybe you're with the wrong people. That could be one
right,
thing, right?
right,
Um, and but you shouldn't have to have a drink to socialize. So there's limiting beliefs there,
yeah,
conditioning, and
right,
you have to dig a little under the hood, right?
yes, 100%.
Which is what you do, right?
Right, I do because when you think about, there's a gentleman named 𝐤𝐲𝐿. He created a thing called positive intelligence, and he did a thing for coaches that we could, I think it was about a 6 or 8 week event. And he talked about go back and think about when you were little. Find that photo. And I found a photo of myself when I was like 3, and I was like in this little blue dress, and I'm like, hey, I'm just like this little bubbly little thing because I'm the youngest of
Yeah.
4 girls. So I was the dancer, I was the goofball of the group. And he said, look at that version of yourself. That's who you are. Where you are now is just because people kept throwing goo on you and telling you things about yourself. And so when I was able to actually, you reconnect with your younger version of yourself before all the stories were told to you, you're not good enough. you'll never succeed, or whatever it might have been that somebody in your life decided to share with you. Go back to that version of yourself and reconnect with her or him. Boy, is that a transformation.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah.
One of my coaches, or old coaches, original coach actually, I should say, and she does the same. She did this whole transformation, and you see yourself, get a photograph of yourself when you were
Mhm.
little, and see how far you've come, and look how excited you were as a girl,
Yeah.
and then look where you are now, and look what you've achieved, and talk to that
Right.
little Beth and
Yeah.
say,
Right.
well done. Look what you've achieved.
Yeah.
You
That's
know, you wouldn't have
fantastic.
known
Right.
then. But isn't it
Right.
nice to see that
Yeah.
that young innocence, the innocence of
Right.
playfulness and in a
Yeah. The
little dress,
purity.
you know.
Yeah. The purity of what we were, right?
Right.
The awe we would have when we'd look at
Yeah.
ourselves in the mirror and be like, oh, look at me, right? And then people started chipping away at that confidence you had in yourself. So I get it. We all go through it.
Yes,
We've all been through it.
those bloody people.
Those
Right.
bloody
Those
people,
bloody
right?
people,
Those
right?
bloody people.
Bloody people. They're always getting in the way, right?
Yes, they are. Go away.
Oh, oh, Jackie, it's been great talking to you. So I have two questions that
Okay.
I ask all my guests. The first one is, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, well, first of all, I'd say do not drink the Kool-Aid, but it's too late for that. I would have been like, like I did have some fun when I was drinking, don't get me wrong, but I really wish I would have been more educated about it. So I wish my younger self, like I just wish that, but it's the fault of the alcohol industry. They do not tell us truly the long-term and short-term side effects of alcohol. So but I think really, so in that aspect of alcohol, I wish my younger self would have known more about it. But really, with my younger self, I really would tell her how amazing you are and you're going to be okay. You're going to have some people that are going to come after you, but you stay true to who you are and just keep loving yourself. Don't worry about what all the other people are saying. But that's hard. But I wish, that would be something I would tell my younger self.
Yeah, it's the courage, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, have the courage and to see life. Yeah.
Right.
And what do you hope your story will inspire in other women who are looking to live a more joyful and peaceful life, dare we say?
Yeah, the biggest thing is if you are struggling with your relationship with alcohol, I understand. And just because you're living in it doesn't mean you have to stay in it.
Mm.
And I'm not going to tell you it's not a flip of a switch, but you can make changes and you can find the life you want to live. You don't have to stay in that bucket. You don't have to keep driving down that lane. You can switch the lane. And you don't have to stay there just because you feel like, oh my gosh, all my friends do this. Because one of my biggest fears of not drinking when I had to make my list was, are my friends going to think I'm crazy? So stop living your life for somebody else and start living it for yourself because no one's coming to save you except yourself. So if you're struggling with where you are and you want to find joy and you want to live a truly authentic life and you're struggling with your addiction to alcohol, you're not alone. And I'm that inspiration to say you can go from drinking 12 beers a day to finding what I call freedom. It wasn't about becoming sober, it was about becoming free. And I am free and I get to choose and I am alive. I am so alive in my life with joy and I live my life now every day on my terms. And that was the biggest transformation for me to be able to wake up every day and be super freaking proud to look in the mirror and go, look who's back. Jackie's back.
Jackie's back. Look who's back. Jackie's back.
Just Jackie.
A million thanks to Jackie for joining me today. Thanks
Thank
to our
you.
audience for hanging out with us and hanging on in there with my crackly voice. I apologize again. We hope you found this inspiring and empowering, and you'll find all you need to know about both of us in the show notes below. So until next time, this is the Passionate Pioneer and Jackie signing off. Wow, another powerful Passionista conversation. I hope that this guest's journey, experience, and story has inspired something deep within you. Remember, it's about following the joy moments in your life. It's a beautiful dance with the universe. If you would like to dive deeper into your joy journey with me, you will find all the links below this video, including a link to a free workbook that will help you to start your joy journey. And until next time, Passionista, I'll say goodbye. Much love and joy.